After the events from the last episode, as Ash and Cassie meet three very strange Pokemon but quite powerful. In fact, that their Pokédex can't even register, meaning there are new types of species. And after that, in their death experience, as the gym leader is talking to the authorities about their events and watching over Pokemon Tower. And not to mention, Ash is sending his Pokemon to the Pokemon Center, and especially Lapras, because Lapras took some serious hitting, and Nursery is pretty much yelling at Ash for it. But even though Ash has been being a Pokemon trainer for a year at this point, even though he knows what he's getting into himself, but it still hurts when Nostra is pretty much is yelling at him and gets to him a bit. And Nostra tells Ash that Lapras took some serious damage, especially amount of thunderbolts that it is taken. And Nostra is pretty much is warning Ash that Lapras needs to be in a long rest, and it's been for a while for Lapras to be in out of water. So Ash, not wanting his Pokemon to be in some sort of danger, decided that Lapras should stay at Professor Oak, where it's probably the best choice for Lapras to fully heal. And Ash knows that Lapras is still quite young for Pokemon, and Lapras pretty much, and doesn't want any some sort of trauma that could cause any trouble. And Cassie on the side is worrying about Ash and his Pokemon, but Ash simply puts Cassie as an okay look, everything should be fine. But the two quickly go into a talk about the three Pokemon that they made and decided it's probably a good idea to inform the two Professor Oak and Elm. And after the two pretty much explains about these three Pokemon, Oak and Elm are quite intrigued because they have never seen new Pokemon, and especially Alan because he's been in the Johto for many years and has never heard these three specifically, and they encourage the two to find out more, and Oak reminding us that he needs to get the GS ball to the Pokemon Master, and almost pretty much forgetting but not complete because he's been quite busy as of late, and I wanting to keep his promise as Cassie and Ash goes on their journeys. But before they do so, Cassie still needs to challenge Faulkner for his badge. And once Cassie tried the first time, Cassie pretty much gets destroyed because Faulkner, even though he couldn't use his strongest Pokemon, and especially since this is Cassidy's first Pokemon, Faulkner will be holding back to give her a chance on earning the badge. But as Cassie has the only Pokemon that she had, and the Pokemon that she only knows for a few days, and the Pokemon that's been with her the long is Chikorita, which a grass type up against Faulkner's Phantom is a big no-no, which forces Cassidy to lose pretty pathetically, and Cassie realizes that she needs to get stronger somehow, and that's where Ash decides to step in and decide that it's probably a good idea for Cassidy to train up some of the Pokemon, and especially the one that she hasn't been hanging out. And luckily, with Ash's being a teacher on Cassidy's Pokemon, as Ash sends out Venusaur trying to practice Chikorita and to practice some stronger grass type moves. So Venusaur is teaching Chikorita a Giga Drain, but unfortunately the move it seems to be a master level, and Chikorita is beginning to learn a minor power, so Chikorita is beginning to learn the move Mega Drain, as Chikorita being a grass type has know how to use it, but still not a true master, as Venusaur is taking on a student being pretty much a master, and Chikorita is looking up to Venusaur in that particular role, and after learning a few moves and Chikorita needing a dance partner to actually try to get Mega Drain to practice, as Ash decided that the Pokemon should be perfect for Chikorita's level without holding back is Ash sending out Cyndaquil, because since Cyndaquil doesn't know any fire type move, and it also desperately needs to catch up with the other Ash's team, the two begin on a tense battle to the point where Chikorita is slowly becoming Cassie's strongest Pokemon. In so much that Cassidy managed to train most of her Pokemon, and especially towards her Weedle, which fully evolves into a Beedrill. And Cassidy is quite amazed and actually quite happy because Beedrill is has a color scheme that is particularly yellow, which kind of reminds her with the Team Electro Buzz, which makes her quite happy. And Ash is quite memorable by his first Pokemon capture with Butterfly, having a nostalgic moment as Cassidy challenges Faulkner once again, and this time in this rematch, Cassidy seems to do much more better because Faulkner is sending out Knockdown, but luckily, since Cassie used Chikorita for the first Pokemon with Honchkrow, and pretty much Cassie has two Pokemon up against Wagner's Noctower, which earns her her first badge in Johto, which gets her quite happy about it, and they pretty much continue on their next journey. After a days of travel as Cassie and Ash have been traveling as suddenly the environment begins to be very rugged and desperately hot as the boat trainer struggles to fight off the heat, but luckily as they keep moving along the heat shouldn't catch them, and suddenly they have entered a herd of seems to be Pokemon herds as Ash pulls out his Pokédex to reveal that some of them are Donphans and families, and they seem a group of families, and this is like quite a sight for both trainers, especially as he has never seen so many Pokemon in particular one place, as normally they would be scattered in the forest, but apparently there's no forest, so the only Pokemon they could do is sketch out the harsh environment to look up something that looks good to eat. But one Pokemon in particular doesn't seem to stand out the most. It doesn't even look the right colors, and he begins to see that it's particularly much more stronger. And this one seems to have a lot of flaws to the point where this Pokemon doesn't even look like he's involved in this type of environment, as Ash puts out his Pokédex as it reveals to be a Snorunt. And once he's as suspicious has confirmed as it looks like the small Pokemon seems to be struggling at the most, but it seems like this one seems to be doing the heated environment much more well, but it's thinking that it might be in a lot of some sort of injuries as Ash tries to get closer until a vicious Donphan viciously attacks Ash as Ash has no other choice but to send out Venusaur and quickly stop the bowling Pokemon from charging at him, as Donphan doesn't even want to attack any further. It seems it's trying to make a statement that Ash shouldn't go closer to Swinart. After that harsh reality, that Ash still has remembered that these Pokemon are very aggressive. If Ash didn't have a Pokemon by himself, it would have been gone a lot ugly. But the weird thing of Ash, and especially Casey, because Donphan normally don't adopt wild Pokemon, it seems suspicious as Casey suggests that to because he has heard stories that from her professor that some Pokemon can actually adopt Pokemon that couldn't defend itself, and it seems like the Swinub seems to really struggling to fighting off the sun more than it trying to actually survive. And it seems like the Starfam is choosing to watch out this little guy until he becomes old enough to stand on his own. But it seems like it's not going to happen anytime soon, as Ash and Casey desperately want to help Swinub, but of course they also don't want to hurt Donphan because even though it tries to do the good thing on parenting it, but there's nothing they could do as they just continue off after making a campsite nearby the huge herd because they realizing it's going to be a harsher to continue on deciding to set up camp. But as we plan to perspective the next day, it seems like the Donphan and Fampi have been under attack as Team Rocket has been destroying their habitats. And it seems like Team Rocket are only going after Donphans, and once a Team Rocket member managed to knock out a Donphan, it appears to pull out something to cut off his Donphan's horn, and it's clearly these greedy people are just simply going after the Pokemon their body has been naturally reproduced because the horns will sell pretty well in the black market, especially for some environmental medicine, as one particular Donphan is struggling to fight off the huge members of Team Rocket's Pokemon, as one particular pretty much is enough of this while Donphan being a quite of a nuisance, as this transforms sends out a Machamp to battle, and unfortunately for Donphan is in a huge struggle, and even though Donphan is a much more aggressive Pokemon and pretty much a protector from its family, but this couldn't overwhelm Machamp having a much more stronger body and have the ability to have extra level things with extra arm and learning moves that it normally shouldn't, and perhaps is being taught by its trainer by using a powerful Ice Punch to knock out Donphan as perhaps the one last standing, as the team market prepared to slowly cut off most of the Donphan's horns, as most of the family tries to fight off but just too weak, but except for one particular one being Swinard, as it particularly shot out a powerful ice beam to the point where it actually disturbs the team market's preparation on cutting out the Donphan's horn, to the point where the trainer with the Machamp is quite having enough of this and is going to end its life, as Machamp lives up season and about to crush this little Pokemon until a Giga Drain fly into Machamp, stopping from the fighting type from attacking the poor helpless Pokemon, as Ash and Casey have intervened, as Cassidy is gonna deal with the Team Rocket grunts while Ash is gonna take out seemingly the leader. It seems the trainer seems to be known as Domino, and she's going to pretty much make a lot of money after selling a few homes and perhaps the Pokemon along the way after they brutalizing most of them. And Ash clenches his teeth and pull up and his knuckles begins to white them because he has been running into these people for countless time and is actually getting quite upset by this, as these people can only think about making Pokemon's lives miserable and making quick bucks from making it, as Donald just simply grins that he doesn't want to waste any more time and command Machamp to use a powerful Ice Punch, but unexpectedly as Venusaur and Ash seems to be in a very sharing mindset, as they just want to stop Team Rocket as soon as possible, as Venusaur corrects a powerful Earth Power, slamming its huge palms into the ground, forcing Machamp to slip into the ground, making a huge spread, meaning that Machamp couldn't get out of it, as Venusaur charges a powerful energy ball, blasting at Machamp's vulnerable state. It couldn't defend itself, allowing it to be knocked out by Venusaur, and realizing Domino is facing up against no rookie trainer, it seems to be very powerful, and after what they got what they need, and they just came here to get the horns anyway, as they just blast off as they disappeared in the part where they throwing a smoke bomb disappearing, and Ash just simply grits his teeth, and once they look upon a certain Donphan that they just met a day ago, it seems to be very injured, as Swanna tries to get Donphan to wake up, but Ash and Cassidy realize as Donphan is not going to wake up anytime soon, as all the Pokemon begins to cry out for this Donphan, desperately trying to defend its family and its young ones. Both Ash and Cassidy begins to tear up because Donphan just wanted to protect his friend from any harm, and now Dawn and Swanna seems to be being orphaned now, and Ash, not wanting the Swanna to suffer anymore, decides that he's going to capture it, as Ash captures Swanna but immediately return it back so that he could properly grieve for Donphan, and Swanna isn't sure if he could trust Ash, but since Ash defended his family, even though that is not physically their family, he still treats the rest of the Donphans and family as his family, as Swanna will become one of his Ash's Pokemon. And after a grieving moment as the two continue off, as Ash and Casey have to treat Swanna's injuries after that heated battle, while Ash underneath taking care of Swanna, he vows to stop Team Rocket no matter what. After Ash has captured Swinehart and finding out that this small Pokemon seems to be still a baby, and after learning that the Swinehart doesn't normally listen to himself, but seemingly is listening to Venusaur, who is taking the role of a bigger brother as it carefully watches Swinehart, and Ash kind of figured out that Venusaur kind of felt responsible after Donphan's death, and pretty much promised to take care of Swinehart, as Venusaur is practically practically the only one taking care of it. And knowing Ash can't get Venusaur some training and Swine, leaving for Erectac, the Scyther and Cynical and Zatu some bit of training, and Ash and Erectata and Scyther mostly didn't get much benefit of the training because Ash doesn't know how much he could improve, but doesn't mean his Pokemon doesn't need to get lazy as Adapter it seems is trying out a brand new move but thankfully by Ash's help Adapter simply has mastered its Rock Slide. A powerful rock type move Stone Edge as this will greatly boost up Adapter's power in rock types and Scyther is practicing but Ash knows that Scyther has so much potential. There's just that nagging feeling inside him that's been yelling at him there is something missing Scyther that it's stopping it from reaching its true strength. While on the other hand, Ash is beginning to train Cynical much more harsher than usual, but Cynical seems to accept the challenges and actually achieve through Ash's expectation. And Ash has a weird feeling Cynical is close to evolving. And after watching his own few Pokemon evolving, and Cynical is pretty much close to evolving after learning a much more powerful move, Flame Wheel, which will give Cynical a great fire ore to its firepower. But the most troublesome Pokemon to train is Zatu. Even though Ash knows this Pokemon could see the future, but at times the synchronizing in a battle seems to throw off because Zatu could see a moment and see a better outcome, which has to take away Ash's order, which frustrates the trainer, including Zatu to an extent, as Zatu doesn't understand its trainer that he should let Zatu do what it does. But the problem is that Ash doesn't want to fully rely on Zatu's version in the future, seeing it as a crutch that Zatu could feel like he could be a strong Pokemon if he just mostly ignored the future warning, but regardless, Zatu and Ash begin some sort of training which does little progress and leaves back to square one as Zatu and Ash are beginning to really struggle on their teamwork. On the other hand, Cassidy is pretty much doing what she does best as trying to capture new Pokemon to her arsenal and mostly important trying to improve her Pokemon. But since Casey is a bit too curious, she decided to take Ash's offer on doing a very intense training and the process seems really harsh and especially towards Casey's Pokemon as after Chikorita really struggled, but luckily Venusaur is there to guide Chikorita and thanks to the encouragement of Venusaur as this triggers Chikorita to see Venusaur as a true master and Venusaur sees Chikorita as some sort of product his own prodigy, and this causes the little grass Pokemon to evolve into Bailey and significantly becomes more stronger after evolving, but unfortunately Bailey just still couldn't defeat Venusaur, as Casey is still pretty excited that her first Pokemon started evolve into a Bailey, and she's quite excited, including Ash to some extent because he is quite reminded the first time that he started evolve, as Venusaur and Ash share a brief moment of remembering their past together. After a while of traveling to the nearest city and mostly due to Ash mostly taking up Swine, leaving the travel time to be more behind, which just leaves Casey to work up on her Pokemon. And after sorting out Swine, thanks to Venusaur's help, the group continue on to the next destination and finally have landed on a city where the Pokemon crafting master is in the specific city, but Ash decides that they don't need to rush in as they still have time to challenge on the nearest gym leader. And after Cassidy pretty much not fighting over this as Ash agrees to go to the gym leader first straight away. And after once the two arrive towards the building to see a young man with a bug catching net and seems to be the gym leader, and he's quite surprised that he has two challenges for the day, and normally he doesn't have this much, but he's quite excited, and it might be a good practice for his protege to watch what he does, and it's revealed to be, as Ash remembers this particular trainer quite well, and is practically his first opponent since his journeys, as it seems to be the samurai, and the samurai and Ash pretty much catch up what's been happening, as the two simply are good friends, but most importantly rivals, and Bugsy is quite surprised that the samurai has a lot of friends, as Ash pretty much introduced the samurai to Casey and Casey to the samurai, and after being quite acquainted, and it's revealed that the samurai realizing Cassidy and Ash are very similar, but Cassidy and Ash denies this because they refuse to think they think alike, and this gets Bugsy to have a good thought, and since the two are going to have a Pokemon battle with him, why not make it a 2-on-2 where Ash and Cassie faces him and the team and the samurai, as all of them seem quite shocked, and the samurai isn't sure if he's ready to defend the gym leader by himself, but he seems to be confident on the samurai's ability to defend any challenges, and it seems like he would have quite an advantage on himself because the samurai and Ash has fought and quite a lot, certainly different makers between him and Cassidy, and not wanting to waste a good opportunity, and actually might be fun. Ash doesn't mind either this, as Cassidy is taking it back. It's kind of scared that he might hold Ash back a bit, being the more experienced trainer, but Ash simply expresses style. They're gonna do very well, and besides, he's probably going to carry most of her weight, and this gets Cassie to be quite angered and determined to be the one to carry Ash during the fight, as the both opponents wait across each side of the battlefield. As the referee called out, it is going to be a tag team battle, as both trainer is allowed for 2 Pokemon, and once all Pokemon are knocked out, the opposition is the winner, as both trainer readies their Pokemon, calling out their Pokemon to battle. Once the referee is ready for all trainers to send out their Pokemon one at a time or mostly all together, Ash sends out Scyther, while Bugsy is quite surprised by Ash's strong looking bug type, as he's also gonna showcase a powerful bug type of his own, sending out Ladian to battle, and the samurai seemingly is following his master, and by sending a powerful Yon Mat to battle, as Casey on the other hand sending out her new fully evolved Pokemon to battle, Azumarill to battle. Once all 4 Pokemon ready to begin, as the referee begins the battle, as Ash quickly taking the head, commanding for Scyther to charge in with a powerful exit towards Yarma, and Bugsy simply intervene the Pokemon with a powerful Mop Punch, as 2 Pokemon crash on another, and seemingly leaving Casey to deal with Yama, as Ash is taking on Bugsy and wanting to pretty much prove herself, commands for Azumarill to use a powerful Aqua Gun towards Yama, but unfortunately the young Pokemon seems to be extremely fast and seems to resist around the battle, and landing a powerful egg header as the little bit of magic get behind Azumarill, which is quite shocking by Cassie as she walks in horror that the small bug team is doing massive damage towards Azumarill, as Cassie has having no other choice to call out for a powerful bubble team, and this time the bubble seems to get Yama to back off, but on the other hand, as Ash is commanding for Scyther to do a powerful aerial ace. As Scyther seems to zoop around the battle, landing a powerful aerial ace towards Legend, which is simply a super effective move, but surprising, the Donphan seems to stand from the attack, and Bugsy commands for powerful Struggle Bug, as the Bladium shot out a powerful beam towards Scyther, which kinda got him by surprise, but not to the point where it's going to be knocked out, as Scyther simply charges forward with a powerful quick attack, landing a major damage towards Ledium, but Ledium simply launches a powerful Mach Punch directed towards Scyther, as then Mayama surprisingly got up behind against Scyther and landing a powerful Bug Buzz towards Scyther, crashing into the ground, and Ash is wondering why isn't Cassidy helping, and it seems Azuma seems to be confused. It seems like it's been hit by a supersonic, and Zuma is in the process of hurting itself but managed to shake it off as Ash and Casey are beginning to struggle quite a bit. It's seemingly Bugsy and the Samurai are seemingly working very well as they notice the two speedy Pokemon are walking together, and Ash Cassidy deciding that they don't have to battle alone, they have to actually work together, and Case can actually agree on that, and as both trainer commands for excesses and a powerful bubble dim as the two move manage to get two of the speedy Pokemon, and they follow up by a powerful aerial as Wazuma goes in for a disarming voice, which does major damage to both Pokemon. But surprisingly, Yama managed to guard out of it at the last second, and Cassidy and Ash seem to notice that Yama is getting faster and faster. It's pointed out that the Sama is its ability speed. With every second, Yama is getting faster and faster, and learning from this as Ash needs to get this Pokemon out as fast as possible, commanding a powerful sword stand as Scyther thrusts his arm extreme, boosting up his strength tremendously as Cassidy is covering Ash as Zuma is getting the two Pokemon to back off with a powerful water gun, but unfortunately Larian got in very too close and landing to a powerful quick attack towards Zuma, but unexpectedly Scyther seems to back get this mystery is Zuma is simply knocked out to the side, surprise of Cassidy, but this allows for Ash to knock out Ledian with a powerful Excessor, which is a super factor thanks to its swords that knocking out Ledian as well in the process, as both trainers recall the Pokemon as Cassidy wants some revenge, and knowing that she's gonna send out the Pokemon with a disadvantage, but she doesn't care as she has full faith on her next one and sending out Bailey to battle, while the gym leader decided he wants to send out his own Scyther to battle, and the difference is very similar to both trainers and the Symbiote for the excitement as both trainer commands for powerful aerial as both sides and perfect hits after hits, while Ashton is forgetting about Yama as it lands a powerful bug buzz. Surprisingly, the Samurai also forgot that Bailey has managed to get up behind him, which surprised the Samurai Pokemon where Case is simply strong and commanding for a powerful Vine Whip, not to attack but to grab onto Yama. With this particular move, as Yama is struggling to get off against Bailey's grappling onto it, as Casey points out that Yama may be really fast but lacks defense or power, which is why it mostly relies on hit and on touch, right? As she commands for Bailey to do a powerful body slam, as Bailey simply slams towards Yama with a powerful force, knocking out the bug Pokemon in the process, forcing A to recall back and sending out his trusty strongest Pokemon to battle a pencil to battle. As the two Scyther is still in a struggle over dominant over the other, seemingly both Scyther wants to prove who is the strongest species of their kind. Spencer is the process of trying to use a powerful access towards Bailey, but unexpectedly, even though Princess seems over the years getting stronger over the years, but surprisingly, Cassidy has showcasing how close she really is with Bailey by using her Vine Whip to grab onto Princess's arm, forcing it to fall off and allowing for Bailey to launch a powerful lead sheet on it, which AJ is too familiar with Ash's own strategy, as Pincer is no longer having the advantage on in the battlefield if he doesn't take out both opponents, as Bailey is beginning to mostly dodge most of Pincer's attack, and the gymnast seems to notice the two of them seems to struggle a bit and decided to switch partners as Scyther rushed towards Bailey with a powerful excessor, and Bailey couldn't use its speed advantage because Scyther is more faster than Pincer, and Pincer is taking on Scyther, which has seen it as a rival and wanting to take out the Scyther for so many years, and it wants some payback, landing a power superpower as Ash has no choice but to call a quick attack. Unfortunately, Pincer knows where Scyther is going towards, but counting with a powerful superpower directly towards Scyther and allowing for Pincer to launch a powerful rock slide. It simply is hitting both Bailey and Scyther, and unfortunately for Ash, Scyther has taken too much damage on the process, and this seems to be knocked out by Pincer, and Ash can see the difference in the goalie. The Pincer seems to go more stronger than unusual. It seems like he's training on the go with Bugsy being a bugged up special has been greatly getting great results from it, as Ash calls back his Pokemon knowing that he's self-attacked, but he doesn't want to overuse his older Pokemon and decides to take on his newest Pokemon a shot and sending out Cynical to battle. As Ash simply calls for a powerful smoke ring for allowing for Cynical, especially Barry, to recover from an attack as the two bug Pokemon seems to not show where the opponents are, and thus Ash commands for Cynical to use a powerful Ember attack as Cynical bursts out the flames from its back, launching a powerful Ember attack which is super effective against Chimchar, and Scyther tries to attack her by the sky by using a powerful aerial ace until Bailey calls Cynical with a powerful environment by grappling in the air, allowing for Cynical to launch a powerful Ember attack, doing some major damage towards Scyther as the both Pokemon has to back up because now the opposite trainer has the type advantage for now as AJ and Bugsy both nod and command for a Swords Dance, and they're attacking with a powerful X's combination, and Cassidy commands for a powerful Reflect as Bailey calls a powerful scream to protect themselves, allowing to absorb most of the physical damage, and thanks to Bailey's move, allowing for both Pokemon to survive, as Spencer is beginning to struggle through the lead sheet as Bugsy knows this, as he needs to take out Bailey as soon as possible, but Cynical is seemingly proving to be a nuisance, as Cynical is carving Bailey by shooting a powerful ember towards the sky, as it forces Bugsy to focus solely on Scyther, which Cynical is beginning the process of struggling pretty hardly, as Cynical is beginning to struggle quite a lot, as Bailey, in the heat of the battle, is struggling up against Pinsir with a powerful rock slide after rock slide, and not slowing down as Cassidy calls out for its name, as Bailey has begun a new move as it simply levitates all the ground in the air and launching towards the bug type, which is super effective. And Casey pulls out the Pokedex and knowing that her Bailey has learned a powerful ancient power attack. As Cassidy is pretty proud for her Pokemon, but Ash points out there's still a long way to go as well. Pokemon command a powerful Vine Wave and Cynical pulling up a powerful ember which is more stronger than usual as Cynical is beginning to intensify its fire with a stronger ember as both Pokemon seems to knock out Scyther and Pinsir, which surprised both Bugsy and AJ thinking they had the advantage as Ash and Cassie celebrate the win, then unexpectedly, Cynical at the end of the battle, it seemingly is glowing and beginning to evolve into its new evolution into a Quilava, as Ash is quite proud of his new fire Pokemon. Once Bugsy gives Casey and Ash their bug badge as Casey quickly grips the badge and now officially has two badges, while Ash simply is more focused on that Cynical has gotten stronger in his progress, but wishes that he does the same with Scyther because it's been struggling a lot, and wishing for Scyther to break through his limits. And Bugsy, after hearing what Ash is asking, as Bugsy suggests as Ash could help Scyther to get stronger, and Ash is questioned that since he helped AJ suspended so much, why not, as Bugsy just points out would Scyther like to evolve, leaving us a bit confused as we plan to attend the next day. Once Bugsy has been given by Ash's Scyther and putting on a weird device as he's put his own Pokemon Scyther in the process and put some weird metal thing in the device, and simply Bugsy explaining some Pokemon evolve by different methods, but unusually it's from humans or other things back in the past, but this is the quickest and the only way to do so, as once Bugsy activates the device, as Scyther begins to switch in and out with Bugsy's Pokemon and switch back to Ash's Pokemon, and seemingly the item that Bugsy has been inserted has disappeared all of a sudden, which gets Ash and Casey quite confused until Bugsy suggests for Ash to get out of his Scyther, as Ash doesn't have a problem in setting out Scyther, but unexpectedly as Ash expected to see his Grim Bug Pokemon, and all of a sudden a different Pokemon entirely, seemingly the color of red and huge pincers in the process instead of sights, as it explains that Bugsy has Scyther has evolved into its evolution called Scyther, as Ash pulls out his Pokédex and finding out that Scyther has gained a new typing, but noticeably it seems like Ash could tell that Scyther is loving its evolution and after evolving, and Ash feels like Scyther has perhaps finally reached the limits that it's been trying to break through. And after that, Ash is grateful to Bugsy and AJ for the battle and Bugsy to help Scyther to evolve as the two simply shakes hands. Once Ash and Casey continue on as Ash pretty much forgot to give the Pokeball Crafter Master the GS ball, and thankfully Casey did reminding him, and Ash pretty much almost forgot as both trainers returned to the house where Professor Oak and Professor M told him where he mostly lived, and after introducing themselves to the Pokeball Crafting Master, as they expected to bring a special ball, and once Ash has given him the special ball, and it was surprised to the craftsmanship that this Pokemon is quite special and isn't sure what it truly is, but it was quite greatly exciting because he wants to see what this GS was truly made of, and this might take a few days, while Ash and Casey doesn't mind waiting a bit longer as they wanting to take some relaxation after the intense battle with the Bugsy's gym battle. And not to mention the travel's late, but after a few days, and the craftsman has press bring back to the group with great news. And if finding out the Jasper is specifically been made by a berry that only a certain island that can grow up in all of Johto, and wanting to get it as quickly as possible, as suggests that they can just ride on his Pokemon and sending that Arigato, not wanting to waste a good opportunity and cut through their travel times much more shorter as the Pokemon Craft Master and Casey jump upon the Arigato and begin to fly out, and seemingly Ash doesn't know, including Arigato, doesn't know where to go until the old man pulls up an old device and pointing to a weird location, but Ash argued against because they're just heading towards a storm, and the old man wants Ash to believe in him, and for the sake of the old man, Ash tells Arigato to fly into the storm, and once after a few hours or so, they have made it into a very weird island, and Ash and Cassidy seem to be quite bizarre about this island, as the Pokemon craftsmanship explained this is a Mirage island that is practically impossible to find, including rare berries, including Pokemon alike, but he has spent all of his life knowing to find this place ever since, because he was looking for a particular fruit but just couldn't even find it even in the missing Mirage Island. And once the trio gather up some berries, and all of a sudden Ash is getting a strange thing thought of his head, and all of a sudden he needs to find a general direction, as the craftsmanship and Cassie want to get Ash out of his funk, but they have no other choice as Ash simply follows onto the largest center of the whole island, and Ash quickly snaps out of it, not even sure how he got here, and Cassie and the old man explain that Ash just simply walked it, as if the island is drawing him to the specific point, until all of a sudden, as Ash would have never met this Pokemon ever again, ever the sense of the huge event as Mewtwo has arrived, and everyone is quite surprised, but weirdly, even though Cassie is kind of freaking out because she tried to pull out a Pokédex and finding no information about this Mewtwo that Ash seems to know, but surprisingly the old man is simply quite surprised that Ash knows about Mewtwo, and it's discovered that the old man have found Mewtwo here, and Mewtwo wanting to find a new way of trying to live and trying to figure out who he is, and thankfully with the help of the old man this place, it seems to be a paradise for Mew and the clone Pokemon that has been living here peacefully. And Mewtwo seemingly can trust the old man, including Ash, but isn't sure about Casey. But since Ash is promising Mewtwo that Casey isn't a troublesome trainer and is actually a great person, and Mewtwo, having very little trust in people, decides that he's going to trust on Ash. And after a while, as the trios realizing it's beginning to be dark and it's more dangerous to travel on undetected in night, and Mewtwo suggests the three of them could just stay here, and it's revealed that the old man has a separate house from here because the old man sees this as pretty much a second home, as Mewtwo just simply disappears in the night, allowing the humans to sleep on his territory, as Ash is beginning to represent the adventures where Cassidy desperately wants to hear, and after learning Ash and Mewtwo's history, and Casey actually getting a bit scared that Mewtwo is actually a correction from Team Rocket, and pretty much tried Mewtwo accidentally almost killed Ash, and he did technically die, but a miracle seemingly happened that pretty much saved Ash. But unexpectedly, the whole island seems to full of blaze, as all of a sudden the three humans to see upon the Pokemon being attacked, as Ash is way too familiar as seemingly Team Rocket members, as we plan out in a different perspective as a large group of Team Rocket seemingly is grouping up. They have been hunting down this particular island since a year or so, and finding any research that Mewtwo does have a home here, meaning that Team Rocket has formulated a plan to finally capture Mewtwo, and Giovanni in particular will finally get back the strongest Pokemon that the world has ever seen. And thanks to the help of his admins and a particular Team Rocket member that is becoming much more stronger up in the ranks, known as Domino. And Giovanni simply sent out the Team Rocket members and the admin just to capture every Pokemon here because they might be useful, as Giovanni simply has disappeared, and even the older admin doesn't like Domino, but they hate to admit that she is more useful as a Team Rocket member instead of an enemy, and deciding to work in together and sending out their Pokemon to rampage and capture every clone Pokemon here. They seems to be quite rare, and all of a sudden our hero seems to step up and sending out a Pokemon, as the admin points out it's the brat again, including Donald pointing out as Ashley is gritting his and actually quite angry is actually getting the old man in case a bit off put by this, because the SK says for her perspective, she has never seen Ash this mad before, but Ash is on a full bloodlust and not wanting Team Rocket to destroy everything that Pokemon hold up dear to the heart, as he just simply sent out Aerodactyl while the admin sends out their signature Pokemon. A huge battle ensued that the smaller grounds couldn't even capture because most of the islands hold stronger Pokemon than usual, leaving them to struggle a lot, meaning that our heroes just needs to take out the strong members of the Pokemon, as the old Craftsman Master sent out forces to battle against a Weezing, and Ash sent out Aerodactyl to take out the familiar Magma that he previously couldn't overcome, but this time however he's come much more prepared and even stronger, as the admin can admit his Magma might have a stronger time, but the unfortunate downside is that thinking it doesn't matter because it's still going to me, but calling up a powerful dynamic punch, but unexpectedly Bailey seems to stop the merchant with a powerful vine web and managed to pull out away with a powerful body slam on top, managing to knock out Machamp to Domino out of surprise. But the rest of the battle continue on as the craftsmanship and Ashley has to deal up with the rest of Team Rocket, as Giovanni himself is particularly taking the chance on the role on taking down Mew personally, as Mewtwo has appeared in front of him, and Mewtwo is quite angry after remembering the pretty much slavery from Giovanni and disrespect that it holds there, and Giovanni simply doesn't care because he's taking what belongs to him, his property, as he takes out Nidoking and ride on to battle to take on Mewtwo, but Mewtwo knows that Giovanni doesn't have the power to take on Mewtwo, and Giovanni seems to smirk, which is why you're right, which is why my people have developing a device allowing me to control powerful Pokemon like you. And like that, Giovanni has entered a radio signal as Mewtwo is striking to fight up this frequency. His eyes begins to grow red, but unexpectedly, Giovanni expects for the legendary Pokemon to be on his side with using Sunwave, but surprisingly, the Scyther is simply facing against the Sunwave and standing up his guard and commanding a powerful Shadow Ball towards its Pokemon, while Nidoking just simply smacks it outside, and Giovanni, realizing Mewtwo has greatly weakened thanks to the Sunwave, as which is quite surprising because Giovanni has used this device with Pokemon like Yuga a few months ago. It's apparent that the Vice needs few more kings to work up before they could allow to control mythical Pokemon like Mewtwo and powerful Pokemon, but taking out Mewtwo should do the job well, as thanks to Nidoking and Rhydon being a powerful Pokemon using powerful poison jabs and rock slide, and Mewtwo greatly is facing up against basically 3 opponents, Rhydon, Nidoking, and the Sunrise inside, to the point where Mewtwo is actually quite struggling to face up the battle. Mewtwo, being the intelligent Pokemon, realizing Giovanni is using a device as Mewtwo uses last ditch of his energy to strike it with a powerful sidekick, but unfortunately it does let him out of energy to defend himself, leaving for Giovanni to command both of his powerful Pokemon to strike, and unexpectedly Aerodactyl seems to appear above the sky and seemingly grabbing onto Mewtwo, but unfortunately Aerodactyl seems to be the main target as Nidoking Rhydon launch a powerful devastating attack with a powerful Hyper Beam, which does injure Aerodactyl, but not to the point where he will drop Mewtwo. As soon as Giovanni and the Pokemon begin on the chase, until Ash has sent out Venusaur and Scizor to stop against Giovanni, and Ash simply yells out it's been too long for him to run too soon, as he wants pay back what everything he has done, especially what his organization has done to him, his friends, and all Pokemon across the world. And Giovanni, remembering Ash at his previous battles in the gym as he experienced a humiliating loss against a kid and wanting some revenge as the two trainers begin a huge battle, but unfortunately for Giovanni, Ash has becoming much more stronger to Ethnos annoying, but unfortunately Giovanni hasn't been lacking because he's been getting stronger himself to the point where Rhydon and Nidoking managed to resist some super effective move against Venusaur and Scizor, but unfortunately, as Giovanni is pretty much about to defeat Ash, and all of a sudden all the Pokemon on the island are seemingly fighting up against and beginning to affect Giovanni, as most of the wild Pokemon are simply defending Ash and attacking Giovanni. Realizing the situation, as Giovanni decided that he hates doing this, but it's the only way to live another day, as he just simply disappears by sending out a Pokemon that allowed him to ride on top of it, allowing Giovanni and most of the Team Rocket members to disappear, and Ash, getting his team not wanting to get Giovanni to let go, but realizing Mewtwo might be in trouble because there's still some Team Rocket members scattered about the island, as Ash simply calls back his Pokemon and reaches the tree. And after reveal, it seems everyone should be found well except for two, which shocked to Ash as Aerodactyl is being greatly injured to the point where it could no longer fly up, and reminding this is the same strong situation that his Lapras has endured, and Cassidy is watching over the old man, and it seems the old man seems to be injured but quite fine because the old man isn't used to be young as he used to be, but there's one major problem that the old man has said that shook everyone, Cassidy and Ash, as the old man discovers that the Team Rocket has stolen the G as well, as Ash and Cassidy the eyes widening the realization, even though Team Rocket have failed, but secretly they have succeeded on what they've been trying to do since the Orange Island, and that's where gonna end the episode there. So guys, what do you think about this latest episode? What might happen to Ash and Cassie at this one? What do you think Team Rocket is planning to do on the G as well after stealing it from the Master of Craftsmanship? And make sure you leave a like, leave a notification, leave a like on the video so you can be notified for the next upload. Until next time, keep it armor, keep it busy.